Hello and welcome to the 9th grade guidance meeting. Since you'll be entering 9th grade and high school, we want to take a look at what is going to be expected and things to be coming up from day 1 of 9th grade through graduation. Graduation requirements are the first thing we're going to look at. The first graduation requirement is your grade point average, otherwise known as your GPA. You need a minimum GPA of a 2.0 to graduate from high school. If you notice, a 2.0 GPA pretty much equals a C grade, which is between a 70-79%. That is the minimum you need. Obviously, you want to be shooting for more of the AB 4.0, 3.0 range when looking at colleges and universities. As far as another graduation requirement, credits are another thing you have to fulfill. You need to have 28 credits by the time you graduate in order to receive a college prep diploma. So pretty much every time you take a class, a full year class, and get full credit for it, meaning you successfully complete it with at least a C or a 2.0, you'll get credit for that class. You need 28 credits, 28 classes fulfilled by the time you graduate to get a college prep diploma. We also offer a standard diploma, which is 24 credits, which is pretty much the same requirements as the college prep diploma without 2 years of a foreign language, 1 less science, and 1 less elective. The college prep diploma lets you apply to a 4-year college university, whereas the standard diploma would only allow you to apply to a 2-year college and or trade school. When looking at high school credits, it cannot just be 28 credits. It has to be a certain amount in certain areas. So the CP stands for college prep diploma. So if you're looking at a college prep diploma, math, you'll need 4 credits. English 4 as well, science 4 as well. You'll need your 2 foreign language credits. And then the standard credits are over here, like I said before. I would say the vast majority of students at Berean do the college prep diploma, but that's the number of credits and where you need them in order to fulfill the college prep diploma. The third thing to look at are community service hours. So when you go to do community service hours, there's 2 ways to do it. You can do it in mini-semester activities or through volunteering on your own. You will need to volunteer on your own to get towards 100, but I would say if you participate in the mini-semester activities, most of your credits will be covered. So mini-semester is that time right before spring break where 9th grade goes on a trip to LA and gets about 40 to 50 community service hours if you participate in that. And then 10th and 11th grade do various things for community service hours, and 12th grade does their trip to Costa Rica, which they get some. So the whole point is, if you do mini-semester activities and community service hours through that, the school itself will track those, so you don't need to worry about those. But if you are doing them on your own, which you'll need to do some, you do need to document those hours. And you do that by using the community service hours form, either found in the admissions office or online at BereanChristianschool.org. Click on academics, then click on guidance, and you'll see the form to the right. Click on the form. You can print it off as many times as you need. You can hand deliver it to myself or Mrs. Starkey, or if you want to scan it and then email it to myself or Mrs. Starkey, either one will work, and they'll all go onto your transcript and record. Okay? So looking at Florida Bright Future Scholarships, that you need to start thinking about now, because now is where the work starts so that you can hopefully get those scholarships prior to graduating. The first scholarship that pertains to a 4-year college university is the FAS, or the Florida Academic Scholarship. The requirements are a 3.5 GPA, 29 ACT, and a 1330 SAT, and 100 community service hours. The FMS, the Florida Medallion Scholar, also applies to a 4-year college university. The GPA for that is a 3.0, 25 ACT or 1210 SAT, and 75 community service hours. So those are things that you want to be focusing on and be working towards, particularly the GPAs and the community service hours. The college entrance scores, either one, we will be practicing in 9th, 10th, and 11th grade, but you will actually take your real SAT, ACT towards the end of the 11th grade year to fulfill that requirement. Okay. The award amounts for these scholarships. These award amounts pertain to a four-year public college or university. We'll talk about private in the next slide. But if you apply to a public college and you get this scholarship, you'll get 100% tuition for the FAS, applicable fees, $300 for fall and spring semesters for additional expenses. Sounds great. Pretty much you get that scholarship and all of your tuitions covered at a public college. If you don't get the FAS but you qualify for the FMS based upon the requirements we just talked about in the previous slide, then you will get 75% tuition covered and applicable fees covered as well. So still very good, not as much as 100%, but still 75% is something to be glad about as well. If you don't go to a public school, college, university in Florida, and you want to go to a private school or college, university in Florida, you still get your money. It just won't go as far. So what I mean by that is you will get, if you qualify for the FAS, you'll get the $211 per credit per semester applied to your tuition. And if you get the FMS, it's $140 per credit. So what I meant previously is that because you're putting it at a private college, which is going to cost more, they're going to give you the value amount of what it would be at a public college. And then you have to make up the difference. So because the private colleges are more expensive, they're going to give you the amount that you earned. You're just going to have to cover the larger difference. I hope that makes sense. So for example, if you go to a private college and it's $600 per credit, you're going to get $200 per credit, but you're going to still have to cover the remaining $400. So looking at that requirements, one of them being college entrance exams for getting into college, but also that scholarship, we do a lot of practice tests for those. The first practice test that pertains to the SAT is the PSAT. That happens in 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. Covers these subjects, language, reading, and math. 9th grade results are really a baseline. It's where 10th and 11th that you need to start comparing them and figuring out ways to improve. My recommendation is to always use Khan Academy through College Board. Basically, 9th, 10th, 11th grade, you get your results. You link your results to Khan Academy, and then they build you practice examples that pertain to where you need to practice, not everything. So basically, they're going to build a report that has you practice what you need. So I would really strongly suggest using Khan Academy once you get those results. For the ACT, we do the practice exam in 9th, 10th, 11th as well, but the practice exam is the Aspire. Covers those subjects. Once you get your results, you can also hook them up for free through ACT Academy, free practice online. Both SAT or ACT you can get free practice online. So 9th, 10th, 11th, we do these practice exams. It's in 11th grade, towards the end of your 11th grade, that you would really be suggested to start taking the actual SAT and actual ACT. That will allow time for retakes before applying for college in the fall of your senior year. Extracurricular activities. So basically, you are more than just your grade, and you want to develop as a person, not only hobbies, interests, and abilities here at school, but outside of school as well. And this will help develop you as a whole person. It'll help you start to develop as an adult and doing things that you enjoy. It doesn't have to just be sports. It can also be clubs. Like we mentioned, the National Honor Society. Maybe you're working, and that is developing certain characteristics and traits as well. Okay, so we're looking at the whole person, not just your academics. Whatever it is you're going to do, you don't have to do it all. The key is a balance between what is important to you. So don't try to be involved in everything. Try to be involved in the things that you're interested in and things that you care about. All right, the next thing we're going to look at is criteria to apply to the National Honor Society. Application and induction occurs during the fall of 10th grade. You must have at least a 3.5 GPA from 9th grade year to receive an application. So what that means is basically, even though you're going to apply for it in 10th grade, 9th grade is where you need to start planning to get that GPA if you want to apply to the National Honor Society, or at least to have the opportunity. So they look at scholarship. They also look at leadership, ways that you've demonstrated that, things that you've participated in inside and outside of school. They're also going to look at service, community service, things that you've done outside your community or maybe even in relation to church, ways that you've served people and your ability to serve people. And then the last thing they're going to look at character. Teacher recommendation and discipline report are the two main ways they're going to do that. And so if National Honor Society is something you want to apply for, be looking for that in 10th grade based upon your GPA from 9th grade. Honors classes. So we have honors classes that we offer at Berean. The way that you get placed into them is based upon two criteria. Basically 85% average for the year in the previous year in that subject, and your teacher recommendation will place you into an honors class. The advantage to honors is that it gives you a 4.5 weight on your GPA instead of a 4.0. So it gives you a higher weighting, which means ultimately the more that you do and the better you do in them, the better your GPA will be. It could actually even be above a 4.0. Honors classes are beneficial if you are prepared and willing to do the accelerated work pace. There's no benefit to taking an honors class if you are not going to have at least a B average. So if you do get placed in honors class, you want to make sure you're working on it, being diligent, and keeping at least that B average. And then also just remember, just because you qualify does not mean you have to take an honors class. You need to consider all you're involved in. Maybe you have a full load of honors classes and you only really want to take, 2 or 3 as opposed to 4. Maybe it's your first time being eligible for an honors class and maybe you only want to do 1 as opposed to 2, 3, or 4. Whatever you feel comfortable with and you want to do is good. Just make sure that you can do well in the class and everything will go well. Okay? So looking into the future, what I'm about to show you isn't to overwhelm anyone. I'm actually going to focus in on just grade point averages for this. But I'm going to show you what's called the SUS matrix, which refers to all entrance requirements for the state of Florida university system. So basically this is really something for guidance counselors, but I'm going to show you one section mainly because I want you to do I want to show you why you need to start doing these 3 things, and then we'll come back to that. Okay, so I'm going to click on this link and it's going to shoot me over there. Alright, so I clicked on that link and it brought me here, and basically what you're going to do is you're going to scroll down and we're going to click on the actual link, and that's going to show you what I hopefully am able to show you. So it's a whole kind of guideline. What I wanted to focus on is this column right here. And listen, I know it's a lot, so don't freak out. But really, if you look at these various colleges, their GPAs are listed right here. And so pretty much if you look at them, you need to have at least a 3.2 in order to start applying to colleges and universities. So at a very minimum, what you want to do as you're moving through 9th grade is you want to be aiming for at least a 3.2 or higher GPA, because as you can see, most of the requirements are well into 3s, 3.6s, 3.8s, 3.4s, 4.4, 4.3. So I mean, we have some pretty competitive GPAs. If you're looking at going to a 4-year college university, you really need to be keeping your GPA, 3.2 minimum or higher. And so after looking at that spreadsheet of the state university system colleges, the reason I'm telling you that is your final GPA in high school starts in 9th grade. You need to start out doing well and continuing on that path, setting clear goals, expectations, and meet those. Do your best academically by setting clear, defined goals and action steps to achieve and support your goals. So set those goals and then set up steps that allow you to achieve those. And now that you're starting 9th grade, start completing some of those community service hours. That's pretty much it. I know you guys will probably have some questions. If you do, feel free to email me after watching this video. Email me. Don't call me right now because I'm not at work at school. So give me an email and I'll answer any questions that you may have pertaining to that. Okay? Thanks, and have a good rest of the day.